Thank you so much, everyone, for attending our today's session. Today we have Kim Heeson. She is a graduate student, probably right now is ABD. Is that correct? Yeah. And then, yeah, she will present and share with us. I will get her introduced shortly. So, all right, let me pull my cheat sheet. Heeson Kim is a human resource development scholar researching sustainable workforce development with a particular focus on career development, leadership, and employee engagement. She has published in peer-reviewed journal on leadership, organizational networks, and technology-enhanced learning and performance with expertise in both quantitative and qualitative methods. Today, we will have her present her insight about bringing AI into her classroom. Hisen, feel free to start.
All right, thank you. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Studios, introducing me. I am really happy to be here today. I will introduce about how my journey of integrating AI to community engaged learning classroom setting. So today, I would like to first share how my initial perspectives on AI as a student and as an instructor was, and then move on to how my understanding of AI have evolved, and also share a little bit about how I started to teach AI literacy to students, and also dig more into how I adopt this for the community engaged learning. So at first, as a student, I felt like AI has a superpower because when the AI first was introduced to the world, everyone was very excited, including myself, because I was able to ask not only about my research ideas, but also the coursework contents that I was not able to ask the instructors, or when I was following up of the course contents that I learned from the coursework. So it was really cool because whenever I asked any kind of questions, I didn't have to phrase the questions or just think about the grammar, because when I just put the questions in it, it directly gave me an answer within a second. And also, coming from an international background, I was a little bit not confident in my writing, especially the grammar. So inside, in home, in front of my laptop, I was able to have writing consultants as a private writing center. And also, when I heard about a lot of different competencies of AI, including generative I was really excited how I can utilize this into my PhD life. However, there was also a doubt on how I can effectively use generative AI and AI into my research and also for the future teaching, as I was planning to pursue my career in academia. However, when I started to teach the undergraduates and both graduate course in Texas A&M, there was one wake-up call experience for me. So when I taught undergraduate research course, one of the students had used generative AI to come up with the proposal idea. However, that incident, I would say incident, um, kind of wake me up to think about three different critical questions. First one is, what is the role of AI in learning? What do we need to do as an instructor to guide students how to utilize AI for their learning? And the second question was, how can we teach students to use AI ethically? And the third question was, how does AI actually really work? Because as an instructor, if we don't know how the AI or generative AI works, we cannot really implement into the coursework and teach students about the AI. So I would like to share how my understanding evolved as I continue to teach the courses. So at first, being a student, I was a consumer. However, um, I put the shoes of instructor and I tried to think how I can strategically adopt AI agent or AI literacy or those kind of competencies into my classroom. So first thing first, what I did is attending a lot of workshops that the Center for Teaching Excellence is providing to not only the faculty, but also the staffs and students, which tremendously helped me to um, collect all of all different types of AI tools and how to properly use the prompt and not only the system prompt as well. And also, if you have a chance to open the timeuse.ai.document website, there is a link about how to adopt AI, how to use or how to effectively cultivate the prompt, which is connected to the LinkedIn Learning platform. So that was the first step that I did to kind of increase my ability and familiarity toward AI. And the second part was about conducting the research and considering about the ethics part. So it was not the timeline didn't overlap. However, I had the privilege to collaborate with my colleagues about how the generative AI can be utilized in instructional system design, which had an opportunity to explore ethical considerations and also responsible use in academic settings. And when I really bring those AI into the classroom, I had learned how AI can facilitate not only the critical thinking of the students, but also how to cultivate the decision-making ability of students. So the key shift would be the more I learned about the AI, the more confident I became on how to use AI to students' learning process. So the first thing that I asked to the coursework which I'm currently co-teaching in the training and development graduate course is collecting their initial thoughts, initial reflection about their AI experience. And I was able to identify 4 different common areas where a student was concerned about. The first thing was about AI ethics and integrity, because I think this is the instructor for all the faculty in the Texas A&M. We had to include the EGI core value and EGI integrity of using AI. And in the statement, it says if the instructor allow students are able to use AI in the ethical way. However, students didn't know what the ethics really mean, what they need to do to adopt and to be responsible of using AI. And the second part of the concerns was about skill confidence. Although a student had an experience interacting with the AI, they didn't know how to provide the prompt, which is effective, which is not working well, and etc. And they were also concerned if if the AI agent will take their learning opportunity and take the control, and they will, I mean, eventually they will work for AI, not AI working for them. And also the third part was about the trust issue. So the project that we include AI agent is community engaged learning, where students are able to collect the real world training and development consulting project. So they literally collected the real data from our clients. And one of the issue that we consistently think about is how we can keep the confidentiality and how the AI is providing a correct responses or correct questions to ask. So there were some concerns about the trust and accuracy issue related to hallucination. And the fourth concern was about professional identity concerns because we are adopting AI agents into their consulting project. They weren't sure if their communication skills will diminish throughout the consulting project, or even their training and development skills might not develop because they might over rely on the AI agents. However, there were some few positive perspective and excitement of integrating AI agents into their real consulting projects. And these kind of two gaps between the student's concern and AI's growing role made intentional design essential as a co-instructor and also with my primary instructor. So when I proceed to systematically design this course, we had several critical points that we had to consider. First thing first is reminding students that you are the supervisor. So when we first provide the role to the AI agent, we first defined AI agent as a junior training and development consultant. And constantly we shared that students are those who are applying the course materials or their real world experience of training and development. And you are the one who ask, and you are the one who should question of AI agents' response. And finally, they are the decision maker, not only to take the control, however, they need to decide whether the 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 knowledge they're learning is really applicable in the real world setting, but also they are deciding whether the situation is correct or not. Because sometimes there are some kind of restrictions that AI cannot detect. However, the students if they play as a supervisor, they know what kind of restrictions they need to apply to the AI agent and when they communicate with the real client. And also, they need to know they own the consequences, not the AI, because AI is just there, but humans are the one who really interact, who really face, who really provide training to the clients. So these points are the critical point that every session we remind to the students. And the other critical consideration that we as an instructor remind ourselves is everyone's experience with AI is different. So their understanding varies and also their prompt skill varies. So we shouldn't just assume, oh, because you have been exposed to AI for more than a year or two, we assume you can interact with the AI. But when I kind of did the class discussions with the students, some students were in a very initial stage of interacting with AI, and some of them had already experienced using AI for their training and development work. So at first, we acknowledge that there are some difference between students in terms of AI skills. And the second point is that system prompts should be designed to guide critical thinking, not replace it. So what we did in the system prompt is we didn't let the AI agent to provide the answer. However, we strictly provide what the AI responsibilities are and what the human agents should do. So there were some kind of charts that students brainstorm what they need to do and what the AI agent should not do. So that it was embedded in the system prompt. And also we asked the AI agent to provide at least 5 recurring questions. Whatever students provide in the prompt, the AI agent should critically keep asking questions so that students can think outside of their box and also think about in various perspectives. And lastly, AI literacy is a workforce readiness issue currently, not just an academic one, because if as we can heard from a lot of keynote speakers or a lot of newsletters these days the workplace is really looking for not only the digital literacy, but AI literacy. So I do believe that higher education's role is to equip undergraduates and graduates um, to really be familiar with AI and know how to use AI in their workplace. All right, so this is the almost the last part of my presentation. So I would like to introduce the step-by-step process I integrated AI into the community engaged learning classroom. So first thing first, we co-created the system prompt. This is the unique part of our class because usually the ones that is already published out there is the instructor already like created the system prompt and created the AI chatbot and AI agent and give that to the students so they can kind of interact. However, in our course, we had a first class to co-create the system prompt, of course, with the systematic step-by-step design from the instructors. So throughout this system prompt building process, of course, we weren't sure if it's gonna work or not because this is our initial project that we wanted to implement. However, throughout the consistent discussions with the students and with the instructors, the system prompt kind of uh, refined throughout the process. And also, as I previously mentioned, we collected the open-ended responses to see how their perceptions toward AI change over time. And as I kept mentioned, there were class discussions to emphasize that each one of you are not alone. You're not struggling alone. You're not questioning or doubting the AI's response alone. By sharing this, we kind of build the learning community and also the safe environment to speak that they utilized AI and what are the shortcomings of the AI and what did the AI really did a great job. And lastly, we didn't rush students to, hey, because we created the system prompt and AI chatbot, you need to interact right away. We kind of gave students some time, allowed time to get comfortable and build familiarity throughout the course. I mean, we understand that it's not even the half of the course for a course yet, but still there were significant difference between these 2 months. And so the outcomes after 1 2 weeks of implementing the AI agent to their consulting project is that students became a critical AI users. For example, they double checked AI responses, not because we as an instructor will keep telling you that you are the supervisor, you need to double confirm. However, when they started to notice that AI is giving the wrong answer or even including wrong target population, although their training and development target population was A or B, they had to re-guide the AI agent. Hey, that's not true. We are focusing on population A, or we are focusing on A -1 training and development area. And because we systematically built the system prompt, it expanded the thinking process because the AI agent was critically providing the questions when they keep like interact with the AI agent. And as we proceed, students share that they were able to revise their prompt to get the um, satisfactory response from the AI agent as well. And so because in the needs analysis of training and development phase, we need to collect the client's opinion. That's where the research questions and also interview questions or survey questions come into to design and implement the stuff. And when students ask kind of those questions to refine those questions, the AI helped to not only refine, however, to design the data collection methods part. And the rest of things are similar, the points that I shared before. So last part, the key takeaways. I believe that AI isn't going anyway, so we need to prepare students to lead, not to follow, by systematically designing not only the coursework, but also the system prompt itself. And the second part is students' anxiety about AI is real and valid. And we need to acknowledge that before we kind of not force, but before we integrate that into the classroom. And the third point is the system prompt is pedagogy, thoughtful design shapes critical thinking, and students are supervisors. It is very important to keep remind their roles and their responsibilities when they interact. And lastly, from personal experience to classroom design varies throughout varies from one instructor to other instructors. So I believe every educator's AI journey is unique and worth sharing. And I really appreciate about this opportunity. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Hysan. Any questions from the floor?